Hey guys, and welcome to another Alexelotl video. Today, we're gonna be reading out some Reddit stories for y'all, and you can enjoy, maybe eat some lunch, eat some dinner, some breakfast, fall asleep, relax, do whatever it is you gotta do. With that being said, let's jump right into it. Some of these are pretty interesting, as you could imagine, pretty drama. So let's step into it. Our first story is titled, My Best Friend Ruined My Birthday Weekend Because I Didn't Make the Trip About Her Breakup. Instantly, just reading the title, what? Right? What? Anyway, let's step into it. I turned 21 last month, and for my birthday, I planned a weekend trip with 6 friends. Nothing crazy expensive, just a small cabin, food, games, and one nice dinner. I planned it 2 months ahead because everyone's schedule is impossible to match up. One of my friends, Kayla, had recently gone through a breakup. I felt bad for her. I really did. She and her boyfriend had been together for almost 2 years, and he broke up with her about 3 weeks before my birthday. I checked on her a lot, called her, invited her over, and told her she didn't have to come on the trip if it felt like too much. Instantly, we're being very nice to Kayla. I think everyone could see that. We're not being dismissive of what happened here. We're acknowledging, 2 years, that's a good amount of time, right? So she insisted she wanted to come. She said, honestly, I need a distraction. So I said, okay. The first weird thing happened before we even left. I sent the group chat the plan: leave Friday afternoon, stop for groceries, check in, dinner, then games. Kayla replied, can we not do birthday stuff the whole time? Question mark. I'm not really in a celebration mood. Huh? What? She's already making it about her. Okay, okay. I thought that was kind of odd because it was literally my birthday trip, but I didn't want to be insensitive. I said, no worries, it'll be chill. We're not doing anything huge. Okay, we're being very nice here. I love that. Then she said, I just don't want to spend the whole weekend pretending to be happy. At that point, another friend replied, you don't have to come if you're not up for it. Kaylee got mad and said we were trying to exclude her, so she came. So let's just pause here for a second. It sounds like Kayla definitely shouldn't come. It doesn't sound like she's in the mental headspace for that. And she's, she's still stuck on this breakup thing. I'm not sure if it's a good idea if she should come, but she comes, right? So let's continue. On the drive there, she complained the whole time. The music was annoying. The snacks were too childish. The cabin was too far. She kept saying, I can't believe I'm single right now, even during normal conversations. At first, everyone was patient, but then it got worse. It could get worse from this? It could get worse? Let's see. When we got to the cabin, my friends had brought a small cake and decorations. Nothing huge, just balloons and a little happy birthday banner. Kayla walked in, saw it, and said, wow, must be nice to have people care about you. The room went silent. I laughed awkwardly because I didn't know what to say. My friend Mia said, Kayla, come on. Kayla said, what? I'm joking. But she wasn't joking. Pause for a second. I don't think she should be saying that all of a sudden. Wow, must be nice. Okay, let's carry on though. Let's carry on. That night, we were playing games, and every single topic somehow became about her ex. We played a card game, and if someone won, she'd say, my ex hated this game. Someone mentioned a restaurant, and she said, that was our place. Someone asked me what I wanted to do tomorrow, and Kayla said, I don't know why we're making such a big deal out of one birthday. That one hurt. Pause again. Kayla, I mean, that there was no need to go for the birthday girl here, right? You're already kind of making it about you. Taking a shot at the birthday girl a bit much. I mean, you're already doing a bit much, but now the birthday girl comment. Come on. Rude. You're on a birthday trip here. Let's see what else happens. I said, it's okay if you're having a hard time, but this weekend was planned for my birthday. She rolled her eyes and said, I know. Everyone knows. Trust me. Oh, a little passive aggressive. Okay. The next day was supposed to be the nice dinner. I'd picked a restaurant nearby and everyone was dressed up. Kayla came out wearing sweatpants and said she didn't want to go. I told her she could stay back if she wanted. She said, so you're just going to leave me alone while I'm depressed? I said, no one is forcing you to stay, but we made reservations. Then she started crying. Now everyone felt awkward. One friend said maybe we could cancel dinner and just order food. I didn't want to sound selfish, but I'd been looking forward to that dinner for weeks. I said, I really don't want to cancel. Kayla looked at me and said, wow, I guess your birthday matters more than my mental health. That was the moment I kind of snapped. I said, Kayla, I care about you, but you chose to come. I gave you the option not to. I've tried to support you, but I'm allowed to enjoy my own birthday. She stopped crying immediately and said, good to know who my real friends are. Then she locked herself in one of the bedrooms, and that was that. We still went to dinner. I felt guilty the entire time, but my friends kept telling me I didn't do anything wrong. When we got back, Kayla was gone. Her stuff was gone too. She had called her brother to pick her up and left without telling anyone. Then she posted on Instagram, nothing hurts more than realizing your friends only care about you when it's convenient. Everyone knew it was about us. Then she sent a long message in the group chat saying I was selfish, attention seeking, and obsessed with being celebrated. She said I made her feel unwanted during the hardest time of her life. I replied privately and said, I'm sorry you're hurting, but I don't think it was fair to make my birthday weekend about your breakup. She replied, you'll understand when something bad happens to you. Whoa. Well, let's take a pause right there. Weird thing to say. Almost could have been a threat. Who knows? Who knows? Also, I don't like how she went public on this. She went to social media, posted on Instagram, saying all that. You know, it's a bit much. It's a bit me. Anyway, let's keep going. Now half our friend group thinks she was wrong, but two people said I should have I should have been more understanding because breakups can make people act out. One of them said you could have had another birthday dinner anytime. But I don't think that's fair. I planned the trip, I paid my part, everyone knew what it was for, and I tried to include her without letting her take over the whole weekend. So now I'm wondering, was I wrong for going to my birthday dinner while my friend was crying at the cabin? And that's the story. And to answer the last question, was I wrong to go to my birthday dinner while my friend was crying at the cabin? I mean, it's literally your birthday trip, you know? It's like going to a wedding and saying, can we not can we not make this about the marriage? That's kind of what she was doing, right? When she said, "Can we not do birthday stuff?" Like, what? What? You're there for the birthday. You gotta do birthday stuff. Or like when she said, "Must be nice that people care about you all of a sudden." That's no. Or the your birthday matters more than my mental health. I mean, that's just an unfair sentence because whatever you say back to that, you're gonna sound like evil and mean and rude. There's no win on that, right? So listen, I feel bad that she was hurting, right? Obviously she was going through a bad breakup. But you know, you can be sad without turning someone else's birthday into your emotional courtroom, right? So I would say not your fault. I guess her emotions had gotten the best of her. Let me know if you guys think any differently, what you guys think of this story down below. Let's hop into story 2 here. I think you guys will find this one quite interesting as well. So, story 2, the title. My sister used my graduation dinner to announce her pregnancy, and now my family says I ruined her moment. All right, I'm already seeing a little trend here. With this one and the last one, it's clearly there's a moment to be had, someone celebrating themselves or their accomplishment or their achievement, and someone is coming in and maybe taking some of that moment, right? So the last story was, the girl with the breakup on the birthday, and I guess this time is someone using your graduation dinner to announce their pregnancy, your sister. So let's hop into it. Let's see what it's about. Instantly, I'm getting the same kind of vibes in that aspect for my last Reddit story. So let's see what happens here. I graduated college this spring. It took me 5 years instead of four because I changed majors, worked part time, and honestly almost dropped out twice. So graduating was a huge deal for me. Pause. Congrats on graduating. Congrats, congrats. Big claps, big claps. Awesome. Glad you stuck to it. Good for you. It's not an easy thing. Great job. Let's keep going. My parents planned a dinner at a nice restaurant with my grandparents, my aunt and uncle, my older sister Lena, and her husband. I was really excited because my family is not usually big on celebrating things. This was the first time in a long time that something was just for me. Before dinner, my mom even said, "Tonight is about you." Famous last words. Oh, some foreshadowing here. Let's see. Everything started fine. People congratulated me, my grandparents gave me a card, and my dad made a small toast. I was already emotional because I didn't expect him to say much, but he said he was proud of me for not giving up. Then my sister stood up. At first, I thought she was going to toast me too. Instead, she said, "Since everyone is together, we have some exciting news." I immediately knew. She put her hands on her stomach and said, "We're pregnant." Everyone started screaming. My mom cried, my aunt jumped up, my grandparents were hugging her. The waiter came over confused because suddenly our graduation dinner had become a baby announcement dinner. I just sat there. I wasn't angry at first, I was shocked. Then my mom said, "Can you believe it? You're gonna be an aunt." And I said, "Wow, congrats." Apparently my face did not match my words. My sister looked at me and said, "You don't look happy." I said, "I am happy for you. I just didn't know you were announcing it tonight." She said, "Well, everyone was already here." I said, "Yeah, for my graduation." The table got quiet. My sister started tearing up and said, "I thought you'd be excited." I said, "I am excited, but this was my graduation dinner." My mom immediately jumped in and said, "Don't start. This is happy news." I said, "I'm not saying it isn't happy. I'm saying she could have told us tomorrow." Then my sister said, "I can't believe you're jealous of a baby." Pause. That is not what she's jealous of. Just want to make that clear. And I guess you guys listening, guys and girls listening, also know that that's not the case. So let's keep it going. That made me angry. Oh, she's angry. I said, "I'm not jealous of a baby. I'm upset that you took over the one dinner that was supposed to celebrate me." My dad told me to lower my voice, even though I wasn't yelling. My grandmother said, "There's room for everyone's happiness," which sounds nice, but somehow only my happiness had to move over. Ooh, that's a bar. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Whoever wrote this, that is a bar. Oh my gosh. Let's keep it going. After that, the entire dinner became about the baby. Names, due date, nursery ideas, who the baby might look like, whether my mom wanted to be called grandma or nana. My graduation cards were literally pushed to the side of the table to make room for people looking at ultrasound pictures. I sat there for another hour trying not to cry. At the end of dinner, my sister hugged me and whispered, I hope one day you grow up enough to be happy for other people. I pulled away and said, I hope one day you stop needing every room to be about you. Pause again. Another bar. Another bar of a response. Unnecessary comment from the sister from, during the hug, but, you know, good response. That was a bar. Let's keep it going. That was probably too harsh, but I was done. I could maybe agree that it was too harsh. You might have went in a little too much. It was a bar. You might have went in a little too much, but I understand. The next day, my mom called me and said I owed Lena an apology. She said Lena had been nervous to announce the pregnancy, and my reaction made her feel unsupported. I asked if anyone cared that I felt unsupported at my own graduation dinner. My mom said, graduations happen all the time. First babies don't. That hurt more than anything because my graduation did not happen all the time. It was years of work, years of almost quitting, years of feeling behind everyone else. And for one night, I just wanted my family to be proud of me. Now Lena isn't speaking to me. My mom says I embarrassed the family. My dad privately told me he understands why I'm upset, but he thinks I should apologize to keep peace. But I'm tired of keeping peace by pretending my feelings don't matter. Was I wrong for not being excited when my sister announced her pregnancy at my graduation dinner? I mean, I I can't blame you here for being upset about your sister announcing her pregnancy at your graduation dinner. It's the same thing as last story, right? That's your little moment. You have like, it's a dinner, right? So you have max, I would assume maybe like 3 to 4 hours. After that's over, then she could do her thing, right? So and the jealous of a baby comment, it's a bit of a cheap move, right? Nobody's jealous of the baby, right? That's like another comment you make, like that's not what it is, right? Or the graduations happen all the time. That's not, no, it's not like you're graduating from college all the time. No, you spent your whole life getting there. That was your moment, right? So no one takes that away from you. No one's gonna decide that that milestone of yours is actually small, right? Because it happens all the time. So I think that, listen, she could be happy about the baby and still be hurt, right? So both things can be true. I'm not saying she's not happy for the baby. I think she's definitely happy for the baby. But she just wants her moment, right? Have her moment, make it about her. And I can't blame her for that. So I would say you're not in the wrong for not being excited. And I'm sure you are excited about it. It's not like you're not excited. Just the timing is wrong. You just want your moment. And you want your couple hours. Is that so much to ask for? Let me know what you guys think about that second story there. Maybe you agree with what I'm saying. Maybe you disagree. I'd love to hear the other side of the story. Please let me know. Um, we have another story here, story number 3, and let me read out the title for you. My roommate's boyfriend has been living with us for free, and now she says I'm being controlling. Mmm, mmm. Already an interesting title. My roommate's boyfriend has been living with us for free, and now she says I'm being controlling. Huh. That's interesting. The part where it says living with us for free and the ending where it says now I'm being controlling. Okay. Let's see. Let's see how, I mean, this depends how controlling, what we're calling controlling here, but they are living with you for free, right? So you have an extra roommate there. I don't know if, let's see. Let's see. Here we go. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment with my roommate, Tessa. We were friends before moving in, and at first, everything was fine. We split rent, utilities, groceries sometimes, and had a pretty normal setup. Then she started dating Mark. Okay, so we have Tessa, who is the current roommate of the person that the POV that we're in. And Tessa, who is our roommate, is dating Mark. Okay, let's keep it going. At first, Mark would come over a few nights a week. I didn't care. I'm not weird about guests. But slowly, a few nights became every night. Then his toothbrush appeared, then his shampoo, then a drawer of his clothes. Then he started receiving packages at our apartment. At that point, I asked Tessa, "Is Mark living here?" She laughed and said, "No, he just stays over a lot." I said, "He's been here for 3 weeks straight." She said, "Why are you keeping track?" That annoyed me because I wasn't keeping track. He was just always there. I'd wake up, Mark was in the kitchen. I'd come home, Mark was on the couch. I'd want to do the laundry. Mark's clothes were in the washer. I'd go to grab leftovers. Mark had eaten them. Pause. Eating your leftovers is crazy. Eating your leftovers? Come on. I'm drawing a line right there, to be honest. Those are your leftovers. What? Oh my gosh. I would have a big problem. I would have a big problem with the leftovers part. I don't know if a lot of you listening to this would agree with that, but the leftovers, that's a line that might have to be drawn. Let's see what happens. The biggest problem was utilities. Our electric and water bills went up. Groceries disappeared faster. The apartment felt crowded, and he didn't contribute a dollar. That's what I was beginning to think, because when you have another person living there, right? That's more showers, and then which is more water, more food that's needed to feed another person. Instantly, I'm understanding this. My head went here, and I was wondering if that would be brought up. Let's continue. One night, I came home after work, and Mark was sitting on the couch, playing video games in just basketball shorts. Tessa wasn't even home. I said, "Where's Tessa?" He said, "Out with friends." I said, "So why are you here?" He looked at me like I was weird and said, "I basically live here." Exactly. Yeah, does kind of basically live there. If he's been there for almost, what was it, 3 weeks? Yeah, almost a month. Holy cow. Let's continue. When Tessa got home, I told her we needed to talk. I said either Mark needed to stop saying over so much, or he needed to officially be added to the lease and pay rent. She got defensive immediately. She said, "You're being controlling." Pause. Is that really considered controlling? I don't think that's a crazy ask. That's not a crazy ask. He's already been there for so long. And if he's basically living there, I mean, he said it himself. He's basically living. Let's continue. I said, "I'm paying half the rent for a 2-person apartment, not a 3-person apartment." She said, "He doesn't use your room." I said, "He uses the bathroom, kitchen, living room, laundry, electricity, water, and apparently my leftovers." Then she said, "You're just jealous because you're single." That one almost made me laugh because no part of this situation made me jealous. I told her I wasn't jealous. I just didn't want to fund her boyfriend's lifestyle. She said Mark was going through a hard time because his roommate situation fell apart. I said I was sorry, but that didn't mean he could secretly move into our apartment. Then she admitted he had been staying with us because he didn't want to sign another lease. So he did move in. They just didn't tell me. I asked how long they planned to keep this going. She said, "Just until he figures things out." I asked, "How long is that?" She said, "I don't know." So basically forever. The next day, I texted her a calm message saying Mark could stay over 2 nights a week maximum, which is what our lease allows for guests. Anything more than that needed landlord approval and a rent splitting. She lost it. She said I was threatening her housing, trying to ruin her relationship, and making Mark feel unwelcome. Then Mark texted me separately and said, "I thought we were cool." We are not cool. We are roommates in law against my will. Then things got worse. Tessa told our mutual friends that I was obsessed with Mark and uncomfortable because they were happy. She made it sound like I was some bitter, jealous person who couldn't handle seeing a couple. One friend messaged me saying, "It's not that serious, just let them be happy." I sent her a picture of Mark's shoes by the door, his towel in the bathroom, his PlayStation under the TV, and his mail on the counter. She replied, "Oh yeah, that's different." Finally, I emailed the landlord. I didn't make it dramatic. I just asked what the guest policy was and whether a long-term guest needed to be added to the lease. The landlord replied and said anyone staying more than 14 days in a month needed written approval. I showed Tessa. She said, "I can't believe you snitched." I said, "I can't believe you moved in a whole man like furniture." Now, she's barely speaking to me. Mark stopped coming over for a few days, but he's back and acting passive aggressive. Yesterday, he said, don't worry, I won't breathe too much of your air." I said, "Great, because the utilities are high." Now the apartment is awkward, our friendship is basically dead, and I'm considering moving out when the lease ends. Was I wrong for contacting the landlord after my roommate secretly moved her boyfriend in? I mean, I wouldn't say you're wrong. I wouldn't say you're wrong, right? I mean, first off, he said he basically lives there, right? He admitted, he confessed accidentally, but he confessed, right? And, you know, the statement he doesn't use your room, that's not really how the rent works, right? You don't pay for your rectangle of a room where you sleep, right? You said it, the water bill, the electricity, everything. And the you're just jealous, you're not jealous. You're not jealous. You're fed up. You're annoyed. I don't know where she got jealous from. I don't know where she got jealous from. You didn't snitch. You checked the lease. You tried to figure out the issue. You're an adult, you know? You signed up for one roommate, not two. So that's not on you, right? And she didn't even tell you. She didn't give you a heads up. Maybe I don't know how it works for you, but maybe if you got a heads up, you'd be a little more lenient on it. But you didn't even get a heads up, right? Like they tried to sneak it in, right? They're like, "Hey, I'm not gonna tell you what's happening here, but my boyfriend's gonna be living here now." Right? They didn't even let you know. So I think that doesn't help their case at all, especially when, they're showing up eating your left. I'm still stuck on the eating your leftovers. That is crazy to me. That's where I draw the line. So let me know if you guys enjoyed the video. And in the comments down below, leave some of your stories and I can read them out in the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you enjoyed, and until next time.